Hey everyone, it's the Knitty Professor. I'm here with Benny to talk about how to avoid pain when you are a frequent knitter like I am, kind of an obsessive knitter. You want to help? Sure you do, bud. So I'm not the youngest knitter in the world, and as you know, I like to knit a lot. And one time I was out with this guy walking on the bike trail. Yeah, that was you. And he made me fall. And I sprained my wrist so bad that my friends, they were like, oh, that must be broken. And I'm like, well, the x-ray didn't show that. But boy, did it swell, and it was really green. And that pain went on for a couple of years. And of course, my first concern was, can I still knit? And I could. I managed to knit the very first day. I'm not sure how much knitting I got done the first week or so, but I did knit regularly, and I managed to get through the pain. Now, normally I don't have that kind of pain, so that's fortunate. And in the meantime, Benny's getting a little easier to walk, aren't you, bud? Yeah, you're getting a little easier to walk. It's good. But in any case, I love knitting. He's lying down now. I love knitting, and I want to do it every day. So how can we, what strategies will allow us to make that happen? So I'm just going to share these few with you that are my strategies. It's nothing scientific, it's just totally my own experience. But here goes. The first one is, as you can tell, I knit really, really slowly. So I've seen videos of people who can just, it's just boom, 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 boom. It's like a factory type of thing. And if I don't knit slowly, I'll get numb in a heartbeat, especially my right wrist, because this do most of the work. I'm an American knitter. I throw. I've tried the European style. I've done it. I'm afraid I'm really ingrained with the American style, and the way that it works for me is just to keep it really slow. So then the next trick that helps me is I take frequent breaks. So the minute my wrist gets a little numb, and it does, I just stop. And sometimes I'll stop for 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes it's just for a minute. Sometimes I'll take a nap after a long day of teaching, running around, doing my practicum, buying groceries, walking the dogs, all that other good stuff. 15-minute nap, never hurts. But I do take a lot of frequent breaks when I'm knitting, and I just wait for the numbness to go away, because it's going to happen, and I just wait for it to go away. The last thing I want is surgery. I'm not sure that that's necessarily the answer. I've heard people have good luck with surgery. My sort of strategy is just to avoid the pain in the first place, and the swelling and the inflammation that would warrant that. So the third strategy I use to try to avoid pain when I knit is to just change it up. Earlier today I was knitting in a sock, so I was using double pointed needles, size 0, and I probably did that for about half an hour. And that's probably enough sock knitting for me for a day. So now I'm knitting on this sweater. These are like a size 5 needle, and they're a circular needle. So all the movements that I'm doing when I work on this project as opposed to the sock project are just enough different to where I'm kind of using different muscles in a different way. And tomorrow I might go back to working on a sweater or the other scarf I've been working on that's coming along. Or I might even just spin, So it's kind of like with the boots. My boot audience talks about, you never want to wear the same pair of boots 2 days in a row. Well, normally, right, I never want to knit on the same project 2 days in a row, because that can be killer. That can really cause me to just numb and stiffen right up. And by changing it up every day, I actually don't have a problem. Now, another thing that I try to do in order to assure that I don't have any more pain or discomfort or, God forbid, injure myself as a knitter is I just try to do what I can to knit comfortably. And I'm not a whiz at this. I tend to knit with more tension than I need. And to be honest, when I'm working on the body of a sweater is when I'm at my most comfortable as far as knitting goes. My tension is not too much, and maybe it's like the different gauge of the needles, like the way they're pointing at each other. Even in a project like this, I'm having to fight with the needles a little bit on this circular needle to get them to just face the way that's comfortable for me, versus on a big old giant sweater I don't have that issue. So comfortable chair is also really important to me. I have to have back support. I have to be all around comfortable when I knit. I have to watch my eyes, like the position of my head, and make sure I don't get a crick in my neck. So I have head support when I'm sitting and knitting as a general rule as well. So the last thing I'm going to share with you is a big caveat. I'm not a doctor and I can't give nutritional advice, but I will admit that I am a turmeric user. I have been, partly because I had both my hips replaced, and a few years ago I was having pain, and I don't know if it's just in my head, could be, but when I started taking that, the pain went away. But I learned from my son's girlfriend, who's in medical school, that if you do take that nutritional supplement, then you want to eat black pepper. So there's an ingredient in black pepper that increases the bioavailability of turmeric exponentially, and makes it work much better. So I do eat black pepper, I eat red pepper, and now I know not only does it taste good, but it's also good for turmeric absorption. So in any case, those are my strategies. I just thought I would kind of pass them along. Knitting is something that I love. I really would rather not go through any day without at least doing a little bit of knitting. And I think if I did end up in a situation where I couldn't do it, it would kind of be rough on me psychologically, just in terms of feeling like I've accomplished something for me every day. And I also have an addiction to work, and I can bill knitting as a kind of productive work because I'm making things, versus like reading. I mean, I like to read, and I probably don't read enough, but I'm much more addicted to knitting. So the big question is, how to do all of that wonderful crafting without suffering the consequences for all the repetitive motions. So those are my tips. I would be really curious if you have other tips, if you have pointers, if you have like stories you could share. Maybe you found using the European way of knitting works better for you. We're working on certain projects or certain gauges. You always have to use bigger needles as opposed to the smaller ones, or whatever it is. Maybe it's a question of like the light, that's another thing I should throw in here. I didn't have it on my list, but I have to have outstanding lighting for most of the projects that I'm knitting, especially something like a sock or something this color work. I don't want to strain my eyes. They're not getting any younger either. So share if you are of a mind to some of the things that you do to make sure that you can knit comfortably and really enjoy the craft without having any kind of pain, numbness, or injury. I'm sure we could all learn from your expertise. So on that note, from Benny and me, hey Benny, he's way down there. You can kind of make him out. Hey Benny. We're going to say so long. See you next time. Ciao.